So the Premier League is back and there are lots of big games, lots of big clubs playing, but there's one game that is one of the biggest games of their season and it's going under the radar. We're going to talk about it now on Ball Street. That game is West Ham versus Crystal Palace. And the reason it's such a huge game is because at different ends of the table, Palace could be drifted towards something very scary. Their form is awful. 4 points out of 39. What's gone wrong at Palace?
Lots of things. Lots of things have gone wrong at the same time. We've had losses of form of certain players, injuries to key players, bad luck in certain games, bad refereeing decisions. And normally over the course of the season, I think that plays out quite evenly. We've had it all in the space of about 8 weeks. And it's meant that we've gone from 5th in the table to wherever we are now. It's just been horrible to watch.
Yeah, and it's, like I said, that form is... If that form continues, you're going down. It's a fact, right?
No, I don't think we are.
But if you continue on that form, you will go down. You haven't got 4 points out of 39.
If we continue on the results, yeah. We haven't been playing that badly. We've just had really big decisions in games go against us. McCarthy kicking the ball to Firmino, one-on-one against Liverpool, and then Benteke getting that very questionable penalty. Hennessy throwing the ball in his own net away at Villa and not even doing that very well. We've had big decisions go against us in games, but we haven't been playing that badly in a lot of these. And it's just, unfortunately, I think it snowballs, and after a while it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy where you think, well, we're not getting points, we're not winning, so we're going to lose again. But the team's not that bad.
Another reason why this is a massive game is it's the Pardew Derby. Pardew is obviously at West Ham.
Yep.
Are there any similarities into what went wrong at West Ham with what's going wrong at Crystal Palace? Are there some warning signs that Jim should be aware of after losing games?
Well, there was mitigating factors at West Ham, but the second season he done very well first, got us to a cup final, good position in the league. But yeah, the second season we got rid of him really before the rot really started to set in. But it's a pattern in his career. You've seen it at West Ham, you've seen it at maybe Southampton, Charlton, and then Newcastle. Newcastle especially was there for a while, where he has these amazing runs of form. He comes in and he does amazingly well. And that's what sort of like tempted Mike Ashley to give him an 8-year deal and things like that. He does amazingly well, gets everyone up for it. Then all of a sudden he just goes on this dire run, and then it gets... he goes from the highs to back down to the lows, and then it seems like he goes, right, we better start pulling our socks up now. And it goes through his career. And I said to a Palace guy in there when we done the predictor table, he was saying about Palace, and he's saying they're going to do amazing this year. And I said they'll get to a certain point and then they'll drop. And he was like, no, definitely not.
That is what happened.
Is Pardew in the danger zone?
I mean,
because look, if you lose at the weekend.
Oh, I know.
If you lose to Norwich next weekend, you could be right down there, lose that FA Cup semi-final, then that's a horrible position.
If we lose to Norwich and we lose to Newcastle, then we deserve to go down. We should be getting points in those games, and I think we will. Pardew isn't really under pressure. There are certain sections of the Palace fans who are saying, hang on a minute, what's happening if this continues? Where do we go? But because it's Pardew and he's a former Palace player, I think if it was any other manager, he'd be under way more pressure. But it's Pardew, and everyone wants him to do well at Palace. Everyone likes him, and they want him to be a success. And we want a manager that's been here longer than 18 months, and we just want some stability. And hopefully, it'll be fine. We'll scrape by this season.
Is he the man to do it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who the other options are, really. That's the thing. But I think Pardew, he fits in at Palace. He's a bit flash. Palace think they're a bit flash. Well, we are. And it's a nice match. It's gone badly in 2016, but I think it'll be okay. And the cup run has helped massively. If he had another cup run, he'd been in a way lot more trouble.
On a more positive note, it's all working out for West Ham, and this is a massive game for them as well, because you're in touching distance of that 4th place. It's looking good. Yeah. It's what Palace could have been, maybe.
Yeah.
It's all going well.
Jim slowly crying.
It is. It is what we hoped would happen, and obviously it's fallen apart. But I think we want to be a bit like a West Ham. I think West Ham could be an inspiration to Palace. Strong London identity, good young team, good manager.
What's been the reason this season for doing so well?
The manager.
Number one.
Number one. Just knows the place. knows the philosophy, knows the fans, knows what he wants. He's got the team playing together. The players all seem to be pulling in the same direction. The fans are over the moon. No one's on his back, even with the early losses against Bournemouth and Leicester at home. Yeah, it's just going fantastically well.
And it looks good for the future as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Bilic's stock has skyrocketed now. Good managers, it seems, are hard to find now, and we've picked out a gem. Hopefully he's our manager for years to come. I think he could lead us into the next phase of our development as a football club. Obviously we've got the stadium coming up, and exciting times with money coming in and things like that. So I think he's the man to lead us, and I just think he understands the club from top to bottom.
And so do you think you're going to get top 4?
I do. I'm confident. I'm confident. We've had some injuries over the season, and we stayed. We kept up with the pace there. We dropped a little bit because we had a lot of draws in that time. But you're talking about the spine of our team was gone. Payet, Lanzini, Sacco, Carroll, Reed at times. The spine of our team was gone, and we kept ourselves there. Nice draws. Then we've caught up with people, and now we're right on the cusp of that top 4.
Yeah.
We've got Arsenal to play, Man United to play, and no disrespect, Jim, but a lot of winnable games. And we've got that energy in us, and that because of the injuries to the key players, they've had sufficient rest. They can really go for it for these 10 games. The only thing that get us is nerves. But I can't see that, we're expecting it.
You're looking forward to playing Arsenal and Man United.
Yeah.
That says what this season's been about.
It's crazy.
It says how optimistic you guys are about finishing in the top 4.
Yeah.
We did a poll on Twitter and it was very close. I think West Ham, it was just about a no. What do you think, Jim?
No.
No.
But it'll be close. It'll be very close.
And the game itself, what's the score going to be? Jim, optimistic?
More goals for West Ham than for Palace, I think. Although this is Palace, you never know. Our run has to end at some point. I hope. And who knows, it will be. But West Ham are very strong.
Traditionally, this is where we go wrong. But I can't see it, and I can only see like a 4-0 victory. Because we haven't destroyed anyone yet, and I think it's due.
Go on. You know you wanna. Press it. Ball Street, they're the dogs.